I wasn't really like, I'm still learning. Obviously, I'm no jiu-jitsu pro. I don't know a lot of pretty much anything about it, but because of watching these guys and getting to know them personally, I'm so excited to watch ADCC this year.
Yeah, it's become very exciting. Really, it's like Danaher. They were like the Danaher Death Squad when they were out in New York, and they really changed the game. Like John Danaher actually really changed the game, which is super interesting to think about. But they made jiu-jitsu really exciting. They made leg locks like a really integral part of the game, whereas before it was kind of ignored. And it was almost considered like too dangerous, you know?
Really?
Yeah. So the biggest jiu-jitsu organization was IBJJF. I don't even know what that stands for. Some international something jiu-jitsu federation. Yeah. And they didn't allow like reaping across the legs. They didn't allow leg locks. They didn't allow like heel hooks. They just had like all these rules in place for very traditional jiu-jitsu. And the Danaher Death Squad came along and they were leg locking everybody. And they were like, well, why not? You know, these are like legit submissions, you know? And so they started killing everybody on the jiu-jitsu circuit outside of IBJJF. And so what ended up happening was these promotions started to develop that they were like submission only tournaments, where it was like you have a certain time limit, any submission is allowed, and we're not going to use points. And that was kind of unheard of at the time. Like IBJJF and most other jiu-jitsu promotions had a points system, and so players would obviously play to garner points more than anything else. And the matches were kind of boring, and like people didn't love it. It wasn't a very catchy sport. And then guys like Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan came along, and they made jiu-jitsu super exciting to watch, and people had no idea how to handle like that type of jiu-jitsu. And so they started just destroying people everywhere outside of IBJJF, and more promotions started starting, and they got bigger and bigger because they had these like stars that they could promote, that it wasn't boring anymore. It was very exciting to watch guys go after submissions and get into these scrambles. And it became so big that IBJJF had to change their rules. And so that was unheard of, because it's like these old fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu farts who are like never going to change shit. And they had to like respect the fact that people were starting to leave their traditional idea of jiu-jitsu and move towards this idea of like anything goes, like anything is legal. A tap is a tap. Like we want to be excited. And then guys like Gordon just brought a lot of eyes to the sport.
I was going to say, Gordon has found a way to make it is thrilling, especially when like promoting an upcoming fight is anything with like boxing or MMA, you know, like UFC or anything. Like he has a way of getting in their heads, getting people fired up to want to go watch it. Even someone like myself that might not fully understand what's happening during a match, I'm, you know, just as excited to go and watch. And I buy into the rivalries, even if I don't know who the other person he's facing is. I'm like, oh shit, well, if he's going against him, and
same.
Then and then the crazy thing where he's like calling out how he's gonna win before he even goes out there. Like I've just never seen anything like that.
It's unbelievable. And he's won every tournament in every style that you can. Like I'm pretty sure he's won IBJJF Worlds. I'm almost positive, you know. And he's won ADCC, and he's won like every promotion that exists. He's like destroyed at like any rule set, any opponent. So it's pretty awesome, like to watch. It's a cool time to be in the sport.